Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on wherever you are. This is David Valencia. I'm the channel manager at IX Systems, so I'm in a really good position to tell you more about TrueNAS and how we use it to defeat ransomware. Before we get started, let me give you a friendly reminder that this webinar is available in full screen. If you ask any questions during the webinar, we'll try to cover it by the end, but if you don't get your question answered then, we'll definitely answer it afterwards. Also, after the webinar, you can get a copy of the webinar video. So let's get going from here. Many people ask, what is TrueNAS and how is it different from a storage in a Windows server? I can tell you that Windows is enterprise class and it supports storage optimization, snapshots, replication, and then provisioning. Our OS is driven by open source and is based on the world's #1 software-defined storage operating system, FreeNAS. Perhaps you're one of the 9 million people that have downloaded FreeNAS and use it on a regular basis. TrueNAS is a true unified storage appliance supplying SAN, NAS, and now S3 object protocols into one easy-to-use storage system. While it can be fast, it's definitely designed to keep your data safe so that what you write today looks the same tomorrow and years from tomorrow. So now let's talk a little bit about ransomware, and forgive me if you already know about this, but I'm continually asked to explain what is ransomware and what we can do about it. Basically, ransomware is not your typical virus, but it propagates via email and other trusted programs. Ransomware can encrypt all of your data, for example, your banking data, pictures of loved one, research files, and school-related data. Then it holds it hostage for payment. If the ransom is not paid, the data is permanently erased, leaving you up a well-known creek without a paddle. File shares, shadow copies, and even cloud services like Dropbox do not combat ransomware. However, TrueNAS can defeat ransomware, and let me show you how. So as you can see here, we've got a network diagram, and I can tell you that TrueNAS in the center there is a ransom-proof storage device, as ransomware does not attack the TrueNAS appliance snapshot data. Its snapshots can provide a restore point from before the attack. So rolling back a snapshot can quickly undo the attack, thus neutralizing the ransomware threat. So as I mentioned earlier, TrueNAS interfaces extremely well with Windows Explorer's previous version tab, which uses the Windows Volume Shadow service to put up copies of their data, their snapshots. They call it volume shadow copies. TrueNAS replaces those, and our snapshots exist there. So restoring our snapshots is really simple. Just right-click and choose the resource that you need and replace the compromised file. So what happens if ransomware attacks those files and essentially attacks the share on TrueNAS, your Windows share on TrueNAS? While that data could be compromised, we can still restore it from snapshots because our snapshots exist out of band, and ransomware, malware, viruses can't jump over that bridge. The files are encrypted until they're restored as the snapshots are restored and the data is put back on your system. So TrueNAS is definitely immune from ransomware, and having a second copy of your snapshots offline in the cloud somewhere makes it even better. So take a look at this slide, and it gives you a good view of it. You've got your clean file up on top, your clean file share, encrypted data files, and you can see where we are restoring from an encrypted data file that's completely out of band, and it becomes a restored, unencrypted, ready-to-use data file. There's a little known fact about TrueNAS, and because we're based on open source, it may seem like kind of a conflict with some people, but we support Windows extremely well. In fact, if you're using Volume Shadow Service, which is also known as Windows Shadow Copies, we integrate perfectly well in that. And we actually replace the Windows Shadow copies with TrueNAS snapshot copies. So if you use your Windows File Explorer, you navigate to a place where you may have lost a file. You simply right-click on that folder, or if the file's encrypted or somehow otherwise compromised, when you right-click on it, Windows provides you with the previous versions tab, and you'll find all of our snapshots there. Again, based on the frequency that you're doing your snapshots, you may have a copy that's only 5 minutes old and nothing has been done to those files other than the ransomware. So here are some resources that we hope will help you defeat ransomware in your environment. It's a real nice blog post called Defeating CryptoLocker Attacks with OpenZFS. We've got another nice blog post called Combating WannaCry and Other Ransomware with OpenZFS Snapshots. We touched a little bit on snapshots today. This will dive in a little bit deeper. And here's a really interesting webinar we created for you called 6 Reasons Why TrueNAS is Replacing NetApp and EMC in the Data Center. We also replaced a lot of other high-end enterprise units too, but this one really dials in on some of the pain points that you're currently experiencing. And the last one is a nice white paper called TrueNAS Overview. It gives you a good look at TrueNAS if you don't have the time to attend our webinar, but I strongly suggest that you do. And lastly, we'll be presenting you at the web page at the end of this webinar where you can register and talk to one of our TrueNAS experts. There's no obligation. They'll take a look at your environment and see how we can help you defeat ransomware, malware, and other bad things that will affect your environment. So again, thanks for coming on. This was just a short, brief webinar that I wanted to get some information out there and give you some resources. You can always give us a call and we'd be happy to go in greater depth with you and help you architect a solution that will prevent ransomware from taking over your enterprise. Thanks again, and let me know if you have any questions. So several questions have come in as I've been speaking, and because time's running short, I'll answer the most common ones here. But if we didn't get to your question, one of our technical experts will reach out to you via email. So first question, somebody asks, several people in their organization use the previous versions feature of Windows Explorer, and they wanted to know if TrueNAS can help them recover from a ransomware attack. And like I pointed out earlier, we replace Windows shadow copies or Windows snapshots with TrueNAS snapshots. So recovering from a ransomware attack, if you have an encrypted file or something like that, is very simple. Just go to your Windows Explorer, navigate to the resource, right-click, previous versions tab is there, scroll down, and you'll see all of your snapshots from newest to oldest in order there and recover from as far back as you need to go. So yes, we do help you recover from a ransomware attack. And the second one is, we've talked about a lot about Windows, but what if I use Linux? Will TrueNAS protect me then? So yeah, unfortunately, Linux doesn't use a previous versions feature like Windows. There's nothing quite like that. But because of that, we've made it very simple to recover. So you would go to your TrueNAS device, navigate to our snapshots there, and it's as simple as cloning your snapshots or mounting them. We use the word clone, but it essentially mounts snapshots back into a readable file system layout like you would have on Linux, and then you would simply replace the file or the directory as needed from those cloned snapshots. So yes, we can help you with Linux or Unix or even Apple with the same process. And the last question for now, can I get support for TrueNAS in Europe? Yes, we've built a very strong network of reseller partners in Europe. Let me know if you have any specific questions about where you might live, and I can put you in touch with one of our partners. We offer up to 24/7 support anywhere in the world with on-site parts replacement and technical support. Technical support varies by the SLA you purchase, from 8 to 5 all the way up to 24/7, but we've been able to service all of our European customers sometime during their business hours, if not sooner. And I think that's about it for now. Again, if you did not see your question here, we'll get one of our technical experts on it as soon as possible, and they'll reach out to you via email. One last thing here before I run. I've put a few of our resources out there that can help you plan or know more about how TrueNAS can help you recover from ransomware attacks. There's going to be a copy of this in your thank you email that you'll receive right after the webinar. And again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us directly, and we'll be happy to answer anything one-on-one. And of course, you can always schedule a call with one of our technical account managers. They can help you plan your TrueNAS environment, which will help protect and correct issues with file corruption, data decay, or even ransomware attacks. Thanks again for your time, and we'll be talking to you again soon.